I promise I picked out the shirt before I realized that I was actually only repotting alocasias today. That was not sort of the original plan. My plan was to just be joining plants together, and then I realized that all of the plants that I wanted to join together were alocasias, so it matches kind of perfectly. But hello and welcome to today's video. It's going to be a bit of a repot and a chat video while I do my favorite method of downsizing, aka joining plants together, because if you have two plants that you want to put in one pot, then you only have one plant. Like, I mean, obviously, yes, you do have two plants, but then you only have one plant to like deal with the care on. And if the plants you're putting together are similar enough care, it's basically like having just one plant, and it makes your job and your life so much easier. So that is what I'm going to be doing today in this video. Before I get into it though, I want to say if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you returning. Now let us get straight into this because I got a lot to repot and it's all alocasias and they're all in semi-hydro, and so we're just gonna go for it. So the first ones that I'm going to join together are I think this is my Alocasia macrorrhiza variegated, and this is my Alocasia odora batik variegated. But in my mind, they have very similar vibes, and it's very possible I have mixed those two up. Let me know if I have. Either way, I feel like their vibes are similar enough that them both being in the same pot will actually look quite good, and it might like fill the pot out a bit more. To be honest, I really need to be getting this one in a place with brighter light because, like, excuse me, is this a leggy plant? Yes, massively. So that is the first one I'm gonna do, and I actually don't have very much semi-hydro on me. So we're going to be trying to reuse as much of the semi-hydro as possible unless the plant is literally root rotting. But even then, I could probably just reuse the semi-hydro. So let's go. Oh yeah, I'm going to put them in this pot, which is a slightly bigger one because obviously they're going to need more space if I'm putting two together in one pot, you know? So this is the pot I'm going to use to put the semi-hydro in. Oh my goodness, so nice. Oh, also, a lot of them have, like, leaves that I need to remove. I am really bad at taking dead alocasia leaves off, especially when some of these live in the back of my cabinet, and I just, like, never see them or think about them. Cosmo's probably gonna come down and help me out in this repot. He always does. He likes to know what's going on. Also, I can kind of go corm hunting in these and see if there are any corms that I want to be pulling out and prop those up. But these roots are looking phenomenal on here. Look at that. So good. And I can only imagine the other one being similar. Take that leaf off. And that leaf. Yeah, if I see any corms, I'll pull them out. But the reason this kind of came about was because I was speaking to my patrons in one of our last live chats, and we were talking about downsizing and our sort of like tips for that. And someone was talking about how they were about to repot different alocasias together in the same pot. And I was like, mind blown. How did I not think about doing that? Because it actually makes so much sense. Why wouldn't you repot multiple alocasias in the same pot? They have essentially the same care. I keep all of my alocasias in semi-hydro substrate with a water reservoir at the bottom, and so they're always getting constant access to water in the same exact way. I never let them dry out. It's not like in soil where I feel like your watering and your soil needs are different for every sort of plant. Whereas in semi-hydro, if they always have access to the water, they're just going to take the water they need and leave the water they don't want. And then the other one can do the exact same thing. So like, why the heck not put two in the same pot? Especially two that have the same sort of vibe. But you totally could go completely different vibes as well. I could take a plant like this and put an Alocasia like dragon scale at the bottom, like a little jewel alocasia. I feel like that could be super cute. I don't think it's necessarily my style, but I could see other people doing it and it looking good. I'm more of a, these two plants have the same vibe, they're gonna go in the same pot sort of thing. So it's like I have a big mixed pot of loads and loads of different like rares and dowses, and I think they all look really good together. But like, would I put a golden pothos on there even though they have essentially the same care? Probably not. Somebody else might, but that's just not really my cup of tea. This one is also doing quite well root-wise. It did have a little bit of, not necessarily rot at the bottom, but the bottom did kind of peel off a little bit. And I could dunk it in, whatchamacallit, hydrogen, no, we don't need that. I could dunk it in hydrogen peroxide, but like, I don't know if I can be bothered to do that. So I don't think I'm going to. But I'm just going to put them into this self-watering pot. I love these ones specifically. I get these from Eastern Tropicals, which is a UK business. I'm sure you can find them online in the States or other bits of the world as well. But I really like these specifically because they have a clear insert, and so you can see the like roots in there and like check on how they're doing. Unfortunately, these windows do get a bit like grotty sometimes. You can see the like water level line where it normally is, and so you do have to make sure that the windows aren't getting too algae to make sure that they're watering correctly, but that is an easy enough thing to do. Like I said, I'm going to be reusing as much semi-hydro as possible. As long as like there's no mega roots in it, I think it should be okay. And I can also pot this one ever so slightly deeper as well because it does have a little bit more leaf loss than the other. Whereas the, yeah, it can kind of go around the base sort of like that. I think that looks pretty good like that. Also, if you haven't already, maybe grab yourself some repotting to do while watching this video. I feel like it is the perfect thing to do, and we can repot things together. I think it actually, and because this is a slightly bigger pot, I probably will have to add some new semi-hydro to it, but that is okay. I can always put it not quite as high as I would want it and then order a new bag. That's probably what I'm gonna have to do. Just to make sure that everything is topped up enough, you know? There we go. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. I think these are gonna love hanging out together. Also, I do have this little, I don't know how to describe it other than like an octopus thing. So I've got a clear stake in here, and I've got this little hook guy that goes on top of it. This one is from Plant Scraper, but you can get them like on Etsy and stuff. And basically this, it sits in the pot and you can use it to hold the stems up so they kind of hold more in place, which for alocasias like this that get so leggy, I do find it quite useful. Unfortunately, the small one is not quite tall enough to fit into it properly, but that's okay. So like, there we go. Honestly, I think this looks freaking cool like this. And I actually quite like that they're different heights because it gives that little bit of differentiation in them. So I can know one is one and one is the other. Whether or not I am correct in thinking that this is the Adora and this is the Macrorrhiza, I'm not sure. So let me know on the ID because I might have it wrong. But either way, I think this will do perfectly for them. I am just gonna have to put this in probably a spot outside of my cabinet. Thus far it's been in my cabinet, or maybe just at the front more so it's not like blocked by a shelf or something in the back. I feel like that'll have to do. But for now, that looks fantastic. Next up, I think the best one for me to do would be my Alocasia regal shields. So I've got two sort of smaller ones in this pot and one slightly bigger one in this pot. They're both in no drainage, but I think based off of both root systems, which are looking pretty intense, I'm probably gonna have to put them into a new vessel altogether. So I went to the store earlier and I found these plastic buckets. Hey Cosmo, don't eat that. I know it's cat safe, but don't. It's one of my cast iron plants. I found these clear buckets, which I feel like would be kind of perfect for some bigger plants. And I probably could take the handle off, but I couldn't figure out how to just like pull it off. I'd probably cut it off or melt it off. Oh, melting it off might be a good idea. I can't be bothered to do it right now, I don't think. And like it could be useful for picking it up. But honestly, I've been really struggling to find bigger no drainage vessels. Yes, I could order more of those like plastic trash cans on Amazon, but if I can avoid shopping on Amazon, I will, just because I feel like in theory I should be able to get things at like charity shops or independent stores and whatever. So maybe, but I need something that's bigger than these things, but smaller than the sort of giant trash can. This guy here, like I need something in between because I feel like that is quite a big step up. And so this is kind of all I could find, and even still this is basically the size of the trash can, so it will have to do. So one thing I do want to keep in here is this, in order to keep holding the plant up, because the bigger of the regal shields here, it does kind of droop quite a bit, which is fine, but annoying. So, I mean, in theory I could have used this as a no drainage vessel, but again, this is freaking huge. So like, do I necessarily want to? But another reason I've been struggling to find stuff, oh my god, that is perfect, is I've been trying to find things without bottlenecks. There's like the tiniest bit of rot in here, but like honestly I'm not worried about it. It's got so many healthy roots that I don't think it's an issue. I'm just removing anything that looks a little bit squidgy. Oh, look at that! This little corm is sprouting. Okay, I might leave this in with this one because it's already starting to sprout. Oh, I didn't even know that was there. That's so exciting. Okay, one down. And then we've got this guy, which is newer to me, and I didn't put it in this vessel very long ago, so I don't think it'll be quite as rooted in here, which is probably for the best. Okay, so if I've got those and I'm putting them in here, I am also going to include the water level indicator just for ease. I find it so much easier to see the water level if I have one of these in the plant. It just makes it a better time for everyone. And then, because these have both been in no drainage this whole time, I feel like all of their roots are actually fine. I don't need to pot them very high up, but I should try and pot them so they're facing the same-ish way towards you. Stay. Yeah, I don't need to go super high with the semi-hydro if I don't want. Because then I can just add a little bit more and that will be perfect. Because like I said, I will buy another bag immediately after filming this because I'll need it. I kind of feel like there's no point of properly staking it right this second, just because there's not enough semi-hydro to like fully hold it in place. So I can like tie it up properly when I have a little bit more semi-hydro. There we go. For now, that will be perfect. And then once this leaf is not leaning down as much, I think it'll look better. Basically, I feel like a lot of alocasias look much nicer when they are a little bit fuller. And like most plants that you're buying in a like plant shop will be taken home with maybe 1 or 2 plants already in that pot. Like that's just how they tend to come. But when you're getting plants through corms, you're usually only getting 1, maybe 2. And even then, like, are both gonna sprout at the same time? Are both gonna sprout at all? And so I feel like I've ended up with several plants that just have 1 plant in them. And until they produce more corms and kind of fill out their own pot, you're kind of just stuck in this like weird limbo of having one skinny plant, like the Jaclyn I have up there, or I mean the branchifolia I do have 2 because eventually a corm did sprout, but like even still it looks like such an awkward plant because it's not got the like fullness that a real alocasia, not a real alocasia, but like an alocasia bought from a store would, if that makes sense. So Regal Shield is good for now. And the next one that I want to do, I believe, is my Alocasia Portadora, because I have this big guy here with 2 leaves, which is kind of just stuck in the 2-leaf club a little bit. It's fine, I'm not worried about it. But I also have what I believe is this smaller pot of Portadora. At least I'm pretty positive it's Portadora. If it's not Portadora, it looks similar enough and like behaves similar enough to be fine being added to my Portadora pot. Does that make sense? So that is what I'm going to do with this one. Let me shift you down just a tiny bit so you can see slightly better what I'm doing, because I'll do it on the ground for this one because they are bigger plants. And for this one as well, I'm basically just going to put this plant into this pot. So all I really have to do is dig out a bit of a hole in this one. Oh, annoying. That went right in my pile of like bits that I don't want to be mixing with the semi-hydro as well. Hopefully that's fine. Okay, anyways, I'm just gonna dig out a little bit of this one. Being careful as I possibly can because I don't want to muck up any roots that are already doing well in there. And it doesn't have to be a huge great hole, because the plant that this is in, the like pot, oh, okay, maybe it does need to be a huge great hole. Oh my god. Do you see these roots? Oh, what the heck? I don't know how I'm gonna get this out of here without just destroying these roots. Oh no. Oh, should I just prune them off? Or should I cut the pot? Oh, both are not ideal options. If I can get this out at all, that would be my preference, I think. Because I don't really want to lose all of these roots. I might just have to be really careful trying to prise these out and kind of do them one at a time so I can push in on the pot and make it so the slots are a little bit bigger, and so then they don't strip the roots as they're pulling through as much or at all. And I might just have to do that for every single root. Pushing on that to make that gap bigger and pulling these roots through. And then I do the same with the next one until I've gone all the way around. Definitely patience is key with this method, because if you try and go too quickly, oh, that's a corm. Okay. If you try and go too quickly with it, they will end up breaking. Okay, you can see where they stripped a little bit. Oh my god, Cosmo's on top of the door. Let me show you. Cosmo, you're gonna hang out up there? Silly boy. There we go. These are looking real good in here. Very, very happy. A couple little bits of a bit of unideal stuff, but that is, like I said, completely normal and not really something to worry about, at least for me. I have it on almost all of my alocasias, like little bits of root that get a little bit funky, but for the most part everything is looking super healthy and plump, so I'm not stressed about it. Okay, will that just fit in there? Not quite. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging. Okie doke, and then we can go like that. I mean, maybe these aren't actually the same type of plant because their stems do look slightly different in there. The big one, it is definitely a lot darker than the small one, but that also could just be because the small one is like still younger. Like it's less mature, but it's also possible that they're just not the same sort of plant or same sort of alocasia. And honestly, I kind of think that's okay, because they'll get the essentially same care that they always have gotten, like thus far, like until this point. So it's like not really something I need to worry about, I don't think. I actually found the most corms in that small plant. They're not massive, but like those are corms in there that I didn't have in any of the others. So that's fun. There we go. That was easy. Okay, this is probably my roguest pairing, but I'm gonna do it because I think it's kind of a vibe. It is my Alocasia Jaclyn here and my Alocasia branchifolia Pink Passion. I think they would both suit being in pot with something else. And I feel like they kind of complement each other in vibe as well. Like those leaves just look nice together. So I'm going to be putting them together in another one of these bucket things because that is what I have. And actually I am a little bit worried about the amount of semi-hydro I have. Right, this is the least amount. Oh my god, again, look at these roots. So much roots. it's definitely gonna lose some when I pull it out. But here's actually a good example. You can see in these clear pots what the sort of root system looks like. Looks really good. I don't know why it's gone all pink. I think that's a little bit better. Sorry about that. But the roots are just so good. And I just hope I can get them through these holes without damaging them too much. Oh my god, the corms on this are bright frickin' pink. That's so strange. Look how pink that is. It's like neon. The plant isn't even pink at all, so why is the corm pink? That's so fun. Okay, I think I'm just gonna have to accept some strippage on those roots, unfortunately. There we go. As long as I can clean them off of anything bad. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Also, I think both of these leaves are pregnant. Look how thick that is. That's going to be fantastic. So, pour that in a layer on the bottom. This might be the one that gets me semi-hydro wise. I'm trying to think if I have any like anywhere else. I don't think I do. Branchifolia. Oh my god. Come on. I was hoping to potentially pot this stem that little bit deeper because you can tell it's cycled quite a lot, and so it's lost all of the leaves on that whole bit, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do so. I wonder if I can just kind of plop them in like that, and the pond won't go very high. This, like, the semi-hydro won't go very high for a little bit, but if I can kind of face them towards each other, it'll look like a bit of a fuller pot. Like that. That's what I'm gonna do. This is again gonna be one that'll put the semi-hydro to the bare minimum for right now because it's kind of the perfect, I think it'll be just the right amount to cover the old roots, and then when I get the new stuff in a few days time, I can add that in on top to kind of give it another like buffer layer. Oh, I kind of want to chat about this in this video as well. You might have seen, if you're on either Claire's Patreon or my Instagram, when I was over at Claire's the other week, I was looking at her Alocasia Jaclyn, and it looks so different to my Alocasia Jaclyn, like the leaf shape. It is a completely different shape. And we were both like really confused about why that was, and we still don't entirely know, but I would be curious to hear on here like what you think is the difference between them. Could it just be that one is a hybrid and one's not, or like maybe it's environmental conditions? I'm really unsure about why they look so freaking different, but like they almost look like two completely different plants, but they were both given to us as Jaclyn's. Like, I don't think either of them are wrong, but I don't know which one is, like, if they are, like, are they the same or not? Who knows? But yeah, a little bit more semi-hydro will not be the worst thing to add to these, because otherwise that might fall down. It just needs the weight a little bit of it. Let me actually tie them together with a small bit of Velcro, just so they can support each other for a little bit. I think that should be fine. And then once I've got more semi-hydro in to hold them up, they can stand up on their own. But I actually kind of love this combination. It's kind of really weird. and different, but like why wouldn't I be able to have both of these in the same pot? They have essentially the same exact care, so like what's the difference? I think it should be okay. So yeah, I think that looks really good. Yeah, I think that's all of the ones that I needed to join together today. And then the last thing that I want to do is sort out all of these different corms that I have, because I actually got a good few. None of them look like insanely huge, but enough to go into a little pot. And sorry, that's gonna bother me if it keeps rubbing my shoulder. But I have grabbed my little bag of Fluval, which I don't like. I'm still not entirely sure whether Fluval is the right thing for me and Alocasia corms specifically. I found it's been okay for propagation, but for Alocasia corms, I'm a little bit unsure. But one of the pieces of advice that y'all said when I did my last putting Alocasia corms in Fluval is less is more. And so, whereas previously I would have put the like Fluval level up like halfway, I am just putting the tiniest little bit in the bottom of this guy. And then I'm gonna stick the corms in. Actually, let me get you real close. So I'm just gonna stick the corms in like this. So like, they would basically almost be touching the like a little water reservoir that I'm gonna put in here. Some of these already have sprouts, like this little guy. That's fun. It looks like it was upside down in its previous location, so it's gone a bit wonky. Same with this one. You can tell that it was growing like this to try and grow upwards, but you don't need to do that anymore, but little buddy. I might just lay you sideways for now. I'll have them like that, and I'll put some water in, and got a lid for this, and it can go on my heat mat area with all of my other Alocasia corms. So I think that's perfect. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some inspiration about how you could potentially downsize some plants by joining multiples together. It's honestly the best way to do it, because then you still get to keep both plants. You don't have to give either of them away. You can have both. You just have one less plant to take care of, kind of. It's like a hack, a downsizing hack. I love it. So I hope I could inspire you to do similar with your plants and to try out putting some different Alocasias in different pots. Literally a few years ago, I would have like balked at this idea. It would never have even been like a thought that crossed my mind. But now I'm just absolutely here for it. The fewer like physical pots I can have in my house, the better, because I have too many and my plants have grown too big. But anyways, thank you so much for being here and watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!